Good evening and welcome to InTouch Credit Union's 2020 annual meeting. It is our very first virtual meeting given the pandemic. I have just a couple of housekeeping announcements before I will officially turn the meeting over to our chairperson, Nancy Pressel. First, I wanted to let everyone know that you can submit questions through the question icon. And we will try to either incorporate those answers throughout the presentation or toward the end. Depending upon your internet connection, there could be a delay. So we will try, especially with polling questions and motions, to give attendees enough time to answer before we close them and move on with the meeting. And then we will try to open the floor toward the end and answer as many questions as possible that were submitted through the question feature. So with that, I will turn the meeting over to Chairperson Nancy Pressel.
Thank you very much, Kent. I officially call the meeting to order. This is our 46th annual meeting and our very first virtual annual meeting, as Kent pointed out. I wanted to take a minute to walk through the agenda. Obviously, we're going to need to confirm that we've got a quorum. I'll appoint a parliamentarian. We'll potentially read the minutes from last annual meeting. We'll have my report. We'll have a bylaw update. Teresa Shirkey will present the audit committee report. We'll hear from Dan Kraus about the nominating committee. We'll hear from Kent, our CEO and president of our credit union. And at this moment, we don't have any old or new business, but I'll still touch that. And then we'll open the floor, if you will, via the question mark to any questions. And then I'll call for an adjournment. Okay, Mr. Secretary Jody Robinson, do we have a quorum present?
Madam Chairperson, more than 25 members have connected online, constituting a quorum.
Thank you very much, Jody. And ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary certifies that we have a quorum present, and therefore this is a legal meeting. The first order of business is naming a parliamentarian for this meeting, and I appoint Sammy Cantrell as parliamentarian for these proceedings. The next order of business is the verbal reading of minutes from last year's annual meeting. For those of you who would like to review them, they are posted out on the credit union's website under News and Resources and just below the link to the 2019 annual report. May I have a motion and a second via the questions box feature to dispense the verbal reading of the minutes and to accept them as recorded?
Nancy, this is Kent. We do have a motion from member Gloria Smith and a second from member Sean Whitlock that the minutes of last year's meeting be waived.
Okay, I have a motion and a second from members Gloria Smith and Sean Whitlock via the questions box feature to dispense the verbal reading of the minutes and to accept them as recorded. Please cast your vote on the poll pop-up question put forward. Those in favor of waiving the verbal reading, please vote yes. Those opposed, please vote no.
As we give members the opportunity to vote, the poll counter lets me know the percentage of members voting. And so we've received approximately 60% of the vote tallied thus far. So we'll just wait just a little bit longer to give members an opportunity to vote.
Okay. Well, I'm thrilled that technology will allow us to touch base with our members, for our annual meeting for 2019, basically in the year 2020. As you know, that this meeting was supposed to happen a little over a month ago. So I'm excited that we have had members join us during our first ever virtual meeting. Hopefully we won't have to do this again, but you know, time will tell.
Okay, we're gonna, we've got approximately 88% of the vote cast thus far. So I'm going to go ahead and close the, 91% of the vote cast thus far. So I'm going to go ahead and close the poll.
Okay, thanks, Kent. And since the motion was carried by a yes, I'll just remind the members that you can read the minutes from last year's meeting on our website. So now the next order of business is the chairperson's report. Some of my highlights that I want to talk about in a minute, but first I want to introduce you all to our elected directors. First of all is John Roberts, Jody Robinson, Chris Lipper, Dan Kraus, Lisa Papageorge, Teresa Shirkey, John Shinneman, Harry Bryant Harrell, and then our appointed advisory board directors. They are John Hardesty, Leanne Fertig, Michelle Mills, Ryan Bowen, Charlene Barnwell, and Michael Gallo. And I thank everyone that is a board member and advisory board member for your commitment and dedication to the credit union. I know that this is strictly on your own time, if you will. This is a volunteer role. And I just thank you so much for taking on this role and being a part of this wonderful credit union. So some of the highlights that's also noted in the annual report, last year was again another very productive year. We have a strategic direction and a promise to our members as well as to ourselves is to provide more convenient and effective and efficient digital service options to our members. And also it allows us to become more efficient within our staff. We've introduced a couple of new online tools to our membership, and one of them is a online membership application that was enhanced, and it allows our members to join the credit union more easier than ever. We've also enhanced the loan application processing procedure, if you will. It's more streamlined. We've been able to enhance the pre-approval process. We've also been able to let the members select or make different choices for their loan payments. The methodology supports the members' performance for managing their own loans and monthly budgeting process. We allow the members to transfer the payments from their own InTouch Credit Union account or an account at another financial institution, a debit card, or even a credit card. So those are new features, if you will, and obviously a new streamlined process. And we've needed this technology more than ever based on the situation that we've been in for the last several months. One of the things that was reported in our last year's annual report, we had announced a new PrizeLink savings account, and we've been able to open up several hundred special accounts, and over 100 members have won prize money, if you will. The other thing that we strive for is obviously paying back to our members, and we've been able to pay over $5 million in dividends, which was over $700,000 in the prior year. So we hope to continue to strengthen our members' financial well-being, and obviously that is our primary goal. The board of directors, the senior leadership, and the staff continue to be dedicated to serving the membership and to the best of our ability. And we continue to search for new ways to meet your financial needs and to provide convenient, no or low cost and efficient service channels. And like I said before, we need that more than ever. But I really want to thank you very much for attending our session today. And then also thank you very much for your continued business and your loyalty. The next order of business is going to be, has to do with the bylaw changes. And we didn't have a bylaw change in the calendar year of 2019. So we'll go ahead and continue with the agenda, if you will. The next order of business is the report of the Audit Committee, and I'll turn the meeting over to Teresa Shirkey, our Audit Committee Chairperson. Teresa.
Thank you, Nancy. First, I'd like to thank the volunteer members of the Audit Committee. That includes Jody Robinson, John Roberts, John Shinneman, and John Hardesty. So these volunteers have put a lot of effort into the Audit Committee. In addition, the risk management team in particular has provided tremendous support to the Audit Committee as well. We conducted numerous compliance reviews and audits, and those were conducted by both our risk management team as well as several independent third-party auditing firms. We audited many areas of the credit union, including cybersecurity, social engineering, money laundering, loan quality, and a whole host of internal controls. While the resulting reports highlighted areas of learning and improvement, there were no material findings in any of these audits. Similarly, our annual comprehensive audit conducted by Nearmid, Maynard, and Velez found no material control weaknesses and confirmed that InTouch's financial statements conform to accounting principles generally accepted in the U.S. These and the many reviews that we conducted allow me to report that the credit union is operating in an operationally safe and sound manner. I'll turn it back to Nancy.
Thank you, Teresa, and to your committee. The next order of business is the report of the Nominating Committee, and Dan Cross was our chairperson for this committee for this past year. Dan?
Thank you, Nancy. The board members are really the representatives of the entire membership. The Nominating Committee on an annual basis is responsible for identifying highly qualified members to serve. It's an important committee, and the actions are also important. I've had the honor of being the chair this year, but I can't do that alone, and I was more than ably assisted by Terry Bryant Harrell and John Hardesty. The Nominating Committee nominated the following 3 individuals to a position on the board of directors for a term of 3 years in accordance with the bylaws. They are Teresa Shirkey, Jody Robinson, and Lisa Papa-George. And due to a resignation of one of the board members last year, the Nominating Committee also nominated the following individual to a position on the board of directors for a term of 2 years, according to bylaw section 501B. He is John Shinneman. Madam Chairperson, the Nominating Committee presents this slate of candidates for nomination, as there were no other valid nominees by petition for election to the board.
Thank you, Dan. There being no valid nominees by petition, and since the bylaw prohibits floor nominees, I declare each nominee elected to the board of directors by acclamation in accordance with bylaws. Congratulations to Teresa Shirkey, Jody Robinson, Lisa Papa-George, and John Shinneman. Thank you very much for your dedication and support, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Nancy, also the Nominating Committee, according to bylaw 501F, also recommended the board appoint the following individuals to serve as advisory board members for a term of 1 year. The board unanimously approved their appointment. They are Charlene Barnwell, John Hardesty, Michelle Mills, Leanne Ferdig, Ryan Bowen, and Michael Gallo. I just would also say that the advisory members are very important because, they're in the future. First of all, we now have people who represent all of the various locations of where we have branches. So that's a very important thing, to have representation of those members in those other locations. And I now turn it back to you, Nancy.
Thanks, Dan. And congratulations to Charlene Barnwell, John Hardesty, Michelle Mills, Leanne Ferdig, Ryan Bowen, and Michael Gallo. And one of the important things, not only to have a further assistance, from people helping the board of directors, it also helps us in our succession planning. So in the event that we have an opening in the board slots, if you will, then we'll have somebody that has knowledge and education, if you will, about the credit union. So it also helps the nominating committee. So thanks to you, Dan, and your committee, and the slate of officers that were presented. The board of directors appreciates, obviously, the volunteer contributions by the elected and appointed individuals, and because they are willing to serve. The annual meetings parliamentarian, Sammy Cantrell, will lead the elected and appointed directors in their oaths of office at the next official board meeting. Okay, the next order of business is the report of the president and CEO and the public acknowledgement of our employee anniversary milestones. Kent LeGrand, he started, oh gosh, was it 15, 16 years ago, right, Kent? And,
yes, 2005.
Yeah, one of the things that you started was acknowledging the dedication to the staff, and I appreciate you doing that.
Well, thank you, Nancy. It has been a privilege and honor to serve as your president and CEO for over 15 years. We've seen, experienced, and overcome a lot of 100-year events over that period of time. And it appears we're in the midst of another one. I am very confident that not only will we come through this pandemic maintaining our financial strength, but I'm certain we will once again emerge from it looking different, but better off than we were before. Our ITM business model, small branch footprint, and digital delivery strategy appears to be one of the safest and well-received models in the market today. We've received more 5-star Google ratings since January 1st than we've received in the last 2 years of our existence combined. So we are doing our best to combine safe digital delivery with a personal touch and connection that feels real and right. As mentioned in my president's report, in the annual report, we've already launched our new online mortgage application tool and approval service. We are still on schedule to commence offering both Zelle and our self-serve online branch appointment scheduling system next month in mid-June, and we'll give all members in good standing the free opportunities to skip their InTouch Credit Union consumer loan or credit card payments in July. We will always accept the member's loan payments when made, but we want to do our part to help if you need short-term assistance with managing your household's cash flow. Next, I would like to thank all InTouch Credit Union personnel for striving to deliver quality financial services to members in a meaningful way. Every InTouch Credit Union staff member is important, including those that work in our branches, as well as those support departments of training, lending, human resources, IT, facilities, management, accounting, business services, marketing and community development, data processing, risk management, member solutions, operation supports, and our member care call center. But InTouch Credit Union's managers and officers are truly a special collection of exceptional leaders. I especially want to thank Diane Gerstner, Tom Condis, Bob McDonald, Sammy Cantrell, Piper Madison, Tim McCoy, Kristen Schmieg Jester, Bridget Robinson, Caressa Putris, Janine Hartman, and administrative assistants Ellen Cawthorn and Barb Holman. This past year could not have been a success without your dedication. As Nancy mentioned earlier, it has become a tradition to publicly acknowledge and honor those employees who attained their 5-year anniversary or multiple of 5 years of service during 2009. And they are James Jaramillo, Miguel Montoya, Tim Fletcher, Helen Hansen, Brandon Watson for 5 years. For 10 years, Tammy Gutierrez, Javier Perez, John Powell, and Rossi Hain. For 15 years, we celebrate Iris Netters and Matt Santee. And for 20 years, Violet Roman. Thank you for making InTouch Credit Union such a great place to work. And on behalf of our great board, I want to thank you for your long-term commitment that has made InTouch Credit Union a great choice for members seeking to solve some of their financial challenges. Lastly, I would like to thank members for their loyalty, trust, and commitment to the credit union. We continually promise to never take your business for granted, and we remain dedicated to delivery options that can help improve the financial well-being of the collective membership. Thank you very much, and I return the meeting back to Chairperson Nancy Pressel.
Thanks, Kent. I appreciate your acknowledgement of the staff, because you're right. We wouldn't be able to deliver the services and products, et cetera, to our membership. The next order of business, as I had indicated when we reviewed the agenda, that we didn't have any old or new business. So at that point in time, Kent, I'll open the floor for any questions, and not sure if we've had any submitted thus far, but I know that you did indicate that there potentially could be a lag in time for us to receive those questions via the question mark at the top of like my screen, if you will. But in the event that we don't get a question from you, please make sure that you email directly to Kent LeGrand at CEO@ITCU.org, so InTouchCreditUnion.org.
So Nancy, we have no questions submitted thus far, but we
Okay.
can just wait a few moments.
Okay.
And give members an opportunity to submit a question if they'd like.
Yeah, and this time I can't see anybody in the face, so I don't know if they're holding back or not.
Okay, well, I don't want to rush because I know how difficult it is to type fast when you want to meet a deadline.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll give it just a bit more time.
I do encourage not only the people that are in attendance, but also the rest of the membership, you know, to make sure that they do view the annual report. I think I say this every annual meeting, that my first annual meeting at the credit union, I was astounded that it was on yellow paper, 2 pages, but now it's a very professional, actually very good content, et cetera, that is in our annual report. And I do thank the credit union for stepping up to the plate and making it more professional and user-friendly.
Okay, well, Nancy, at this time, we have no submitted questions.
Okay. Not out of the ordinary. Even in person, we don't typically have any questions. So anyway, I'll entertain a motion and a second to adjourn. the submitted.
Nancy, we do have a motion to adjourn the meeting from Gloria Smith, and we have a second that's been submitted by Sean Whitlock.
Okay, well, I have a motion and a second from members Gloria Smith and Sean Whitlock through the questions box feature to adjourn the meeting. Please cast your vote on the poll pop-up question put forward. Those in favor of the motion to adjourn the meeting, please vote yes. Those opposed, please vote no.
And we have approximately 58–60% of the members have voted thus far. If we just give it a moment, I'm sure more votes will be recorded.
Okay. Hopefully next year this will be a face-to-face meeting, and I do encourage members to attend.
Yes. Okay. We have 93% of the membership has voted. So I'm going to close the poll.
Okay. Thank you very much for your attendance. I appreciate it very much. And take care and be well. Thanks for
Thank you,
attending our
everyone,
first
for
virtual
attending.
annual meeting. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Bye.
Bye.